Hello everyone, YouTube back with another packages and pickups video. Kind of becoming a bit of a Friday thing, but I guess that's just when I pick up my stuff or I have time to do it. So this week is actually just going to all be packages. There's a few other bits, but I'll leave them to another video. As I got a few, I was going to say trades, but there were packages from fellow YouTubers and one item from eBay. But I'll start with the items from YouTubers, and the first up was a trade that I did with a subscriber of mine called AndrewMystery23. I assume that's International Man of Mystery number 23, that's what that stands for. And he PM'd me there just over a week ago now. It came through fairly fast, looking for some a Master System game, and I actually still had it. Most of my trade games from my previous trade video are actually gone, but I happen to have that one, and we arranged a trade. I won't say, just in case he wants to do some sort of video or posted or something like that, what it was, but he sent me through a Genesis game, and it is Shove It! The Warehouse game, and it is by DreamWorks. For most people, they'll be thinking, what? Why would you probably want that game? It's nice and complete as well. Well, if you're unaware, this is, as you can kind of see from the back of the box, it's basically a version of Sukuban, I think it's called. I'm not too sure, but you basically move boxes over to certain points. So there's, as the screenshot says, there's lots of dots, and you got to move each of the boxes to cover the dots, and you can only push the boxes in kind of up, down, left, right directions, and you got to figure out, you know, how to get them onto the dots. That's the kind of puzzle. Hardly like, you know, pushing the Genesis system, but for some reason one of my friends, Zero, always went on about this game, or at least I seem to remember him going on about it. But as I think it was a Genesis game, he must have played it in emulation or something. So the title stuck in my mind. Maybe that was more because it was called Shove It! The Warehouse game. I mean, Shove It makes it sound like more like it could be, you know, a fighting game of some description, but no. Yes, let's make a game about pushing boxes around a warehouse. Because when I'm, you know, I'm after working all day, and you come home and you want a bit of escapism. I think I want to work in a warehouse. But anyway, I gave it a shot. Only briefly, seemed like a good game. Interestingly, the cartridge, obviously it's Genesis, but there's no region protection, or at least it played in my, it played in both my PAL Mega Drive and my Genesis, and it was just nice to get a Genesis game into the collection and to do a trade with another good YouTuber. So that came through nice and quick. It was just about a week or so. Which it was coming from Canada, so I was kind of surprised it was so fast. And it was some top trade there. Now, the second one is just I did with a good friend of mine on here, TootyUK, aka Stuart. It seems like I can't go a week without mentioning Stuart in one of these videos, and I'm sure most of you will probably have seen it, but a couple of weeks back, actually probably more like a month back now, Stuart got this big haul of Master System games, and every Master System collector was probably watching that video, because a lot of them were for trades. Basically, he had a chance to get this like job lot style thing, and it must have been 40 or 50 games, and he knew he was going to have a lot of duplicates, but the plan was compare them to his versions he already had, take the best ones, put the rest up for trail, you know, mix and match type of stuff, and get a few interesting games out of the mix. I know he had a bit of bad luck. There was a few titles that he was hoping would be complete, but he didn't know beforehand until it arrived, and I guess that's just what happens when you do a job lot like that. However, he did actually have a few games then up for trade that I didn't have. He had 3, but in the end we settled on 2, and here they are. Now, come to think of it, I forgot to let Stuart know that these arrived, and there's another item from him as well, but I'll get to that in a minute. it just so happens that when I get most packages in, I open up the package, you know, check the details, check the card, check the manual, so on and so forth, make sure it works and it's in the condition described. If you see my last packages video, you'll know for sure that's not always the case. So you gotta be certain. But if it's coming from someone like Stuart, where I know it's going to be in the condition that he said it is, and he sent me pictures and, you know, he described the condition, so I know it. As soon as I seen what it was and that everyone was there, I just left it aside and said, okay, I'll talk about that in the video because I'll cut it open then. I just, you know, I mean, you can trust someone like that in the community that you're going to get what you agreed to. That's the great thing about, you know, doing trades, same with Andrew. You just know you're going to get, you know, what it is that has been described. You don't always get that in eBay. So anyway, as I said, there was 2 games, and I'll open them here. Oh yeah, Stuart, the game's arrived. And this time I'm prepared because this is the packaging within the packaging. I got rid of the first part of packaging. He always packs his stuff incredibly well, so this time I have my scissors at the ready. And he's been stealing my line lately. And normally I say, and it wouldn't be a packages and pickups video if I didn't have a Master System games. But sure enough, I tend to have Master System games. And I suppose because he's been racing through the Master System set himself, it's been the same thing. I noticed there seems to be quite a few people going for a Master System set at the moment. Bad news in terms of competition for me, but it's good to see the system get the appreciation it deserves. Because I know himself, Electric Adventures, Night Archer, Private Joker, oh god, there's a few others. Marcus Expo 2708, and more than I'm forgetting, I'm sure, are all going for full collections as well, which probably makes it harder to pick up the titles, but however. So first up we have a game. Oh, his packaging just gets better each time. Now he sellotaped down the hang tag, so did I say hang tag? I meant Wee Willie Winky. So it wouldn't get broken. Snip. I'm free. And the box will open, and of course cartridges, you know, bubble thing bin. And now I knew there was a little writing on the manual, but apart from that, it's fine. And I can put a name or whatever on a manual is not too bad, especially if it's not that expensive as these weren't. And you know beforehand, you know, he gave me clear pictures that was the condition it was. And it's not like the Dr. Robotnik last week where it was covered, you know, in crayons and pens and all through it, you know, it's just ridiculous. And then I didn't know. So, anyway, Assault City. I haven't tried it out yet, obviously, because it's still sealed up. Give the box a bit of a clean up, but other than that, it's fine. Oh, well, hang tab, or clippy tab, but structurally still fairly sound. That's the first one. Now, that's not the Light Phaser one, unfortunately. I still need the Light Phaser one. That's a tricky title to get. And secondly, then we have Space Gun by Taisho. So, this is one of the Light Phaser games. I remember back in the day, Mean Machines gave this a whopping 9%. So, or was it 13%? It was very low anyway. I take it that they didn't like it. No Wee Willie Winky, but everything's nicely packed in again, and this time it's in perfect condition. And the box is, you know, perfect except for the hang tab. So, I know that they said this is a crap game, and obviously when you're... I think I just kicked the camera. Oops. Still seems fine. If I'm not in shot anymore, that's why. You'll just hear a disembodied voice. If you're going for a complete collection, you pick up games that you don't necessarily like or that just aren't good, period. But I always kind of thought it looked pretty okay when I seen the pictures in the magazine, so I don't know. I'm going to say, hey, I think that was okay. And so these two came to, I think it was 10. Stuart can correct me if I'm wrong anyway. I'm going to say 10. But then there was also a freebie that we, funny enough, had actually been arranged beforehand. And it is a copy of Nintendo Magazine System. And it is the Donkey Kong Country 2 issue. Now, I love the Donkey Kong Country series. They're one of my favorite games. So it's I seen it on the cover. It had something like 14-page review. So I was like, oh, definitely I'll have that if he's giving them away. And just to show you, like, I mean, how big it was at the time, 97% was the review they gave. And the reason why this one is open is because I was reading through it. But I found it interesting that on the breakdown, with the exception of action, it didn't get like 5-star in anything. And after a day, your interest will peak away down the graph. So after a week or so, you're going to start to be done with it. And I'm thinking, and yet it got 97%. That's interesting. It didn't really fully excel at everything on their list, but yet it was still nearly a perfect game. Good Jesus. And I know Blue Tonic has been doing this. He's been reading through a magazine. I can't remember. It was like Next or X, something with an X. I seem to recall. He's reading through the magazine kind of beneath issue and just commenting on it. I have to say, they make for great videos because it's both a trip back in time to see these magazines, and that's why, I mean, when Stu was giving this away, I was like, yeah, I'll have that. I love to look through these type of things, but also to have someone's commentary on it and their opinions. And one of the best articles in that magazine is the out and about in a town, and they speak to people. And sure enough, well, they kind of a similar thing here, I'm guessing. I haven't read it, but they have. Actually, these could be the editors. They're all Christmased up and they have Christmas stuff around them. And they have the letters at the back, which are usually worth a read too. Where are they? If in this case, it's probably going to be the typical anti-Sega tirades that people tend to have back then. Ah yes, the seal mailbag for whatever reason. I'm guessing because the official seal quality. So, for some reason, they have someone killing Kirby in a Nintendo magazine. That seems a bit harsh. Oh, and here we go. Yep, this is the stuff I was expecting. They have Nintendo, kind of the Berlin Wall style, and Mario beating up Sonic, and then we have another set-up wall thing, and we have Donkey Kong and co herding off Sonic behind the line of popularity, because if you were into Sega, you just weren't popular. Yeesh. So I've only had a read part of it, but it's always great to read through these old magazines. And I noticed that at the time they're still referring to the N64 as the Nintendo Ultra 64 as well. So that kind of puts it in its period. I'm guessing it's Christmas of '95 before it kind of got its changeover. They were going to the Space World show in the next issue. So thanks again to Stuart for sending those stuff through, and especially for the magazine. Really appreciated. You certainly didn't have to do something like that. And Andrew as well. And now back to the land of eBay, where you can never be so sure. And I have one more package. Oh wait, I forgot. Gone through my count again, and these two bring my Master System count down to 44 for the PAL/NTSC games. Moving on then, I'm going to bring it down to 43 to go. But of course, back on eBay land and back with shite eBayers, this was a game that I've been looking for a while, and you can pick it up any day of the week, but I think the buy nows are ridiculous. Some of the buy nows I've seen I've seen one I think that was £100. Now that is leagues ahead of even the other buy nows in terms of crazy. But I've seen other ones go from anywhere from 30 to 40, and that's just crazy money for this game. Absolutely crazy. So I just said, I know if I bide my time, I'll get it for £10 or there, maybe a little over type of thing. And sure enough, I managed to win an auction, and I think including shipping it might have come to 12. So I said yes, definitely we're not going with the buy now prices. Now, its bigger brother is is a title to get excited about. This one, you know, it's nice to have, but it doesn't command quite the same attention, and it is the Smurfs. Sadly, not the Smurfs 2. Private Joker has managed to snag a copy, and you know, he's now well on his way to finishing his set, but I had to settle for the Smurfs 1, largely because there's no way I'm plunking down that sort of money on Smurfs 2. And it is in very nice condition. It's pretty much brand new, like perfect. But yet there's no on the back it has one free admission to the Wallaby parks inside, which must be the Smurf Park, I guess, in France. Presumably they have a Smurf Park in France. But no, there was no free pass, and I think it's expired. In fact, I could have sworn they had some mark somewhere saying, you know, free pass. Oh yeah, valid until the 30th of the 9th, 1995. Can you imagine going there now and going, hey, I got my copy of the Smurfs and I want to go into the Wallaby Park. You should honour it, you should honour it, I bought this game, I demand my entrance. But anyway, one thing I always notice that the Smurfs games, the main title, I suppose it makes sense where the popularity is Les Schtroumpfs or whatever, it's the French, and then the English is second, and on the back then you have the English first. Strange. You'd think it'd be the other way around if they've set it up to be a French title, because it's the same on the spine. So this game, you know, it's a decent 8-bit platformer. I haven't played it too much, to be honest. It's one of those things that, you know, meaning to give more go but haven't. But anyway, it looks in perfect condition, and it is. Hang tab, like it's barely even been bent, it's perfect. This is miraculous, frankly, because the way it was packaged was awful. It was in an envelope that had no bubble wrap at all. You know, it wasn't a padded envelope. There was nothing around the game. There was nothing inside like Stuart has with the cartridge to keep them in place. And the envelope itself, presumably through the mail system, got torn to bits. So it was hanging out like, you know, it was like some partial paper, an address, and a stamp over it. It was almost saying, you know, they may as well just stuck a stamp on the box, put a post-it with the address, and that was about as effective as it was. Thank God for the durability of Sega cases, otherwise this would have gotten mangled. If this was like a Nintendo game, oh my god, it would have just been destroyed. Or a Game Gear game. But thankfully it wasn't, and that brings me down to 43, and it's another tricky one to get at a good price. So, pleased to get it. And there's the Master System haul for today, keeping with Sega with Genesis. Yeah, so 4 nice games and a magazine to read through, just to balance out the Sega love. So, thanks as always for watching. I'm sure I've rambled on for too long as it is, and I'll put up another video soon. Until next time.